Hello, I am Katrina Brittingham. I am a business coach with 20 years of experience in business, and I have been helping large organizations save money through various projects, through process improvement, change management, and strategic management for quite some time. And I went into coaching the people who were upper level, mid management, upper level in career transition. And that's how I started out my coaching career. And most of the people in the last couple years were transitioning out of corporate into their own business, which I had done about 7 years prior. And having the business acumen that I had people asking me to coach them on starting a business. So then Venture Ready Business Coaching was formed. And the thing that I want to discuss today, because it's a big thing with entrepreneurs who are just starting out, and even now entrepreneurs who are seasoned with COVID and everything that's going on, is to have 10 quick steps that will help you to thrive in business. These tips are for those who are seasoned in business and need to make some changes, change direction, pivot, especially during the area of COVID, and also those who are starting up a business in 2020. You have many people who have found themselves out of work, furloughed, and different things like that. So people begin to make changes to what they're doing. You have people who have been coaching on the side while they were working, or people who just are fed up and are taking their savings to work on their own, as opposed to looking for someone to be employed by. So, the first thing you want to do is to know that your business is going to take everything you have in order for you to be successful. And when I mean everything you have is the same drive you had in building your career when you were in corporate or working for someone else. You are going to be taking that plus a little bit more to start your business, to grow your business, and to thrive in business. Yes, you can get to the point where you are on stride and you're not spending as many hours as you did working for corporate eventually, but in the startup phase, in the startup phase, when you're pivoting, when you're making changes, you are going to be putting in some significant hours. So you'll need your best idea, a strong work ethic, and perseverance for those days where things just don't go your way. As a business owner, things happen, and I can speak to that. At the end of 2020, I, along with COVID was one hit that hit us in the beginning of 2020 and things shutting down. You had a lot of people who were brick and mortar who had to go, if they could, to a virtual platform, particularly in service industries like coaching and training. Even some gyms have taken to online training as opposed to opening up shop again. So we're going to discuss the reasonings for that and for those pivots a little bit later. But for those days that just don't go your way, and at the end of 2020, in the midst of that, along with a lot of other people for different reasons, I had losses in my family that had gotten sick, COVID and non-COVID related. And now you have to navigate the new norm of trying to make sure that your family member, your friend is good and running your business at the same time, which can be very, very daunting, especially when you're trying to make changes and pivots within your business, and then you have to make changes and pivots within your personal life. I was lucky where my business has always been a business that was virtual. So because of that, I did not have as much of a change when it came to my business and how I functioned in my business, operated in my business, as some other people did. And I found myself a little bit ahead of a game when it came to transitioning to that form of coaching. But just like most people, I did take some hit when COVID came, because people who could do my services found that they could not do my services anymore for financial reasons and things like that. But there are going to be some good days, there are going to be some high days, and there are going to be some low days in business. And you want to make sure that you have the perseverance to stick it out and stick it through, even with that. And it's not saying that when things happen, as far as sicknesses and deaths in your family, that you don't take time off to deal with that. But that's part of it. But if you come up with a strategy, you can have sometimes have your business work even when you're not there, depending on the size of your company. Even as a solopreneur, there are options, and we'll discuss what those options are in another video. But if you have all of those things in combination, you can turn your hobby, your idea, your passion into a thriving enterprise. In this video, we're going to share 10 quick tips that will help you launch and thrive in business. Okay. All right. Something's going wrong here just bear with me for a second. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is that you want to build like other empires. And when I say empires, I mean countries like England, the United States, name another big country. Believe it or not, they are built on infrastructures that you can use to help maximize your business. Meaning that the materials that are used, hopefully, for the structures of the high rises and your house and things like that were built on sturdy, quality material. So once you do that, just like you look at the buildings out there, some skyscrapers are very beautiful, and you look at them and it's so captivating, like, wow, this is really awesome. This is really beautiful. You know that most of those structures cost multi-million dollars. People come, at least even to where I am in Philadelphia, for the infrastructure that we have, the old infrastructure as well as the new infrastructure. And you have people that are moving. Everything is shiny and glistening. Things are made from all kinds of precious materials, metals, the older ones from marble, stone, designs that you can't even get anymore using the same building materials. People can create it and have a facade of it, but nothing is built like those things that have been built before. And it's high quality products that how quality is built from high quality products that will last a lifetime. Is well defined. You can go to Philadelphia and see the older infrastructure there, and go to another state like New Jersey, and their infrastructure is different there, but it is sturdy construction. And that's what you want to do for your business. Whether you have a product or whether you have a service, you want to make sure that it's high quality. That is something that wows your customer, your audience, your specific audience. And going into your audience, that's where you go to the next step, which is step 2, which is choosing the right niche. The right niche will help you to make sure that you are selling to the people who want your service and need your service. If you don't niche your business down, you will find out that you have made a mistake. Because if you are too broad with a general business, you may struggle to know who your audience is, who you're trying to sell to. If you're selling to everyone, you are not selling to anyone. Meaning that if you're trying to reach everyone, you're not going to get the sales that you want. And that is the thing. When you even look at the sneaker industry, Nike has a certain niche. They have a certain audience that they sell to. It's not the same as the place kids would be selling to, or the light up shoes. So you have to make sure that you are fitting in your niche. So I do business coaching, and my business coaching is for entrepreneurs who are just starting up. I can help them build an infrastructure of their business, and seasoned entrepreneurs who are looking to grow and need to expand and don't know where to go. And it's also to small businesses as well to help them do the same things. So my niche are business owners, small business owners. It's not every business owner out there, is not the mid-sized businesses, is not the large businesses. It is small businesses and entrepreneurs who need specific help and specific guidance in navigating their business. And so I have a radio program that is designed for reaching that clientele in that niche, and also a TV show that is designed to help and draw in my clients and my business and customers. It also helps you to brand your social media so you are getting the correct people in there. So you want to make sure. So if you are selling, let's say, plus size clothing for women that are sizes 14 to 24, that's a niche. So that's where you want to make sure that your messaging is going. So when you niche down correctly, you can market on various sites to reach the people. And you, when you do your marketing, you can do strategic marketing that targets that individual market to make sure that you are reaching the people. If you have someone who's not plus size and you are selling plus size clothing, you're not going to go to them. So you don't want to have your stuff in a market where someone will have no need for your clothes. To help you niche, you can go to Google Trends and it'll show you how stable your niche is. Okay, so you want to also choose a niche that's popular, where hundreds of thousands of monthly searches are done for those types of things. Because if you have a niche that is not sought after, then people won't be searching for it. The whole point of going into Google, when you go into Google and you do a search for what you're looking for, that is how they find out how many people are interested in it and how many people buy from it, how many people click on links from it, and things like that. If you have a niche that's so specific, that's so custom, then you may get one or two clients, but in the long run, you've satisfied the need and there will be no one else to come to your site to buy. So you want to be specific with that. Number three is you want to solve a burning problem that comes back to and is related to having your niche. Look at the industry. What problem does your service or your product solve? If you look at that, because even within a certain niche and within a certain realm, if you're doing fashion, there is a certain niche for you and your fashion, and you want to make sure that you are getting to the right people when it comes to that. And case in point, I'm gonna just go with it because I'm, a plus size girl, and have been for some time. Is that one of the problems that I had with shopping for plus size clothing is being able to find certain garments that fit me, because even though I was a plus size girl, I'm not necessarily hippie and leggy. And so sometimes I had a real hard time finding clothes that I liked, that fit me, that was to my unique plus size frame, which is not unique, but that fit my frame. Not every plus size person is extremely curvy. I do have some curves, but they're just in a different place. So I had to find, a place that will sell that. And at one point, there were a lot of shops who did not meet my specific needs. I wasn't totally hipless and everything like that. And, so I had to find something that could fit me. And there was an organization, a company who solved for that. I'm not going to mention it because I'm not going to drop the names, but it wound up being my go-to place and a lot of people's go-to place for plus size clothing, specifically in business, because I spent a lot of time in business and corporate, and in particular, finding suits that fit, where I didn't have to get one size bottom and another size top, just to fit, and so the company that solved that wind up finding a niche for those people that are built like myself that may not necessarily have the big calves, the big legs, and everything like that. And so we were able to find a slimmer fit or more relaxed fit for people who were built like me that just happen to have some additional curves. This is what you want to look for in the industry. In just about every industry, there is something that customers complain about. And if you look at the results of your competition and even some feedback that clients give, when you look at what they are saying, a lot of times you'll find a good amount of people saying the same thing. What is that? That is the problem that you can solve for. So when you're looking for that, you can look and see how you can solve someone's problem. And I use fashion, but you can do that also for service industries like coaching. It is one of the reasons why I came up with the niche that I came up with, is because a lot of the feedback that I got from networking with small businesses, people who needed business coaching and senior level career coaching, is the fact that when they started business or even as they've been in business, and I found for myself, is that people would go for certain trainings. They would go for certain conferences and associations, and they wouldn't get the information that they needed to fit them on how to really start a business to be successful in business. They might have gotten a sales pitch or some hashtags and everything, but no one really told them what to do. And I'm not going to say what to do, but how to do things without having an exorbitant price, and they already spent maybe $1,000 or more for the conference itself, and then maybe a couple $1,000 more depending on where they were traveling from to get that information. And so you had people who also did not really deal with or help solopreneurs or people who were just starting out with some tips that they needed to fit their needs. And so that's where certain things were born into this company, is to answer those questions, to take and give a step-by-step instruction, do a little more hand holding for people who are brand new in the industry. Number 4 is, again, going back to the customer's needs. You want to make sure that you are obsessing over their needs. And when I say obsessing over their needs, is that you take a look at what the unmet needs are, and see if you can have a solution to solve it. Because one of the biggest conflicts in business is that people have their needs unmet. And if a customer doesn't get the service or product they were expecting, or the customer service that they were expecting, their needs won't be met and they'll feel frustrated. And that brings me back to, especially if you're in a service industry, that's what makes me so niche, is because we pride ourselves on customer service, and go above and beyond to make sure that the customer is happy and satisfied, and that their needs are met in the service. It's also in building into the product that you serve, or the product that you sell, or the service that you provide, that you are very, very clear on what services or the product that they're going to get. Many times when people are frustrated is because advertising or even descriptions of products or services is not exactly what people received. So you want to make sure that you have a Q&A on your website, a Q&A at your fingertips, so you can explain to people exactly what they're getting, so they are not disappointed. And it's also, even if the customer complains, reviewing that, making sure that you let them know that you understand their frustration, and doing your best to resolve that issue to the best of your ability and capability to do so. The most important business tip when it comes to managing your customer relations is to always, empathize with the customer, like I said, to say that I do understand your frustration. I'm a customer myself, and I know how frustrating that is. When you recognize their frustration as pain from not having their needs met, it is easier for you to even take someone who is not very patient, someone who may hurl insults at you personally. And this is even, if you are wasn't a part of the deal. If you are a small business and you have, some people that are working for you, or maybe a shipment came late and you had no control over it because the shipping company experienced a delay, the truck had a flat tire, and things like that. So, they may be insulting you, but it will help you to understand, to put yourself in the customer's position. So you can focus on trying to listen to them, and mirroring the intent behind their words. If they're like, "Oh, this product is horrible and it didn't arrive like I was, it was supposed to. I had this birthday party that I had this gift for." Just let them know, I understand your frustration. So you're saying that the package didn't arrive on time. Okay, let me take a look at that for you, and find out what's going on, and why there was a delay. Also, in cases like this, you might want to provide them with after everything is resolved, a discount code or something like that for a future purchase, like 10% off or something to acknowledge that, they were inconvenienced, or, something like that. Maybe working with your vendor, if you are with dropship or something like that, to find out what's going on, and to let people know up front the expectations, and have that as a problem solving for, for the future, that if you're looking, when you're doing drop shipping and you see from the shipping company they're saying it might be a delay, or you watch the news and found out there might be a delay due to COVID, due to a storm, it's the winter season, and things like that, then you can let your customers know that there may be a delay because of whatever has happened. So then your customer knows that something is going on, instead of letting them find out on their own and be frustrated. You can work on coming up with a resolution that meets their needs and leaves them feeling like you actually heard them. The worst thing that can happen in customer service, and I've experienced that myself, is when I didn't feel like, the person on the other end was listening to me, when I felt like they were talking over me. And it can cause a frustration, and for you to be more frustrated than you would have been had you just, the person had actually just listened to you and done what you were supposed to. I've had companies where they have lost business from me simply because the customer service representative that I was speaking to did not hear what I was saying to them. They were just following a script, or they just wanted to get you off the phone. And it's frustrating on the customer end. That's why I always say, put yourself in the shoes of the customer. How would you like to have been treated in a situation such as this, where you're frustrated? Um, so by doing this, to with a customer, instead of simply getting a refund, because a lot of times customers may not necessarily want a refund. They just want their issue resolved, or just want you to hear their frustration and want you to do better the next time, and it'll open up doors for you to have a long-term relationship with the customer, even if they were upset with the first experience with you. And it doesn't always, again, have to lead to a refund of the money. And sometimes, companies are real quick to just throw out there, I'm just going to refund your money, because they don't want to deal with the frustration. But the frustration with that is simply, people might leave you a positive review. However, if they have a horrible time with you, they are going to complain to twice as many people than they would have if you had a great service. Or they might not leave a review at all, but they'll tell everybody that they know not to go to you because of this X, Y, and Z happened to me. So with businesses, whether it's a product based business or service based business, verbal referrals and personal referrals are very powerful. And I would say it's more powerful in a lot of times than if you're spending thousands of dollars in marketing, because you can be spending thousands of dollars in marketing and you have people going around saying, don't go to her, don't go to her, don't go to her, don't go to him, don't go to this company because this is what I experienced. And so you just want to make sure that you make sure that the customer is the utmost most focus. Number 5 is that you want to focus on profit instead of revenue. Most entrepreneurs will boast about their revenue. I made $1 million in 8 months. That's what they'll say. And you can't help but ask, but did you really make that though? And because if you dig deeper, you'll find that profits is much more important than the actual revenue. Revenue is what you're getting in for the product and services. Your profit is what you have after you deduct all of your expenses from it. And your expenses includes payroll, paying for the lights, paying for your internet. And then after you do some research on companies, you need to make sure, because some companies will say, oh, we did this in revenue. But when you look at it, they may have only done $100,000 in revenue or $90,000 in revenue because their overhead it costs them that much for their infrastructure. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at your revenue, that you look at your profits after 8 months. So you don't find out that you've only made $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And so you want to look at what you're doing and if it's sustainable or not. A lot of times when you're new in business, you get a lot of people who tell you that this product is the best product to help you. This training is the best training to help you make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time. And you're paying this money out. And after you total all of that up to how much you received in sales, which is considered also revenue, is that you did not make as much as you thought. And the profit afterwards, are you breaking even? Are you in the negative numbers? These are the things that you want to look at. And you might want to consider pivoting and rethinking about your profit and see what's coming out of your expenses to see if you can still hold the same quality that you're giving your customers and still being able to hit that bottom line as far as what the company has made, because that is what the company is going to be worth at the end of the day, is what you have after you pay all of your expenses. When you look at your balance sheet or you have your accountant look at your balance sheet, this is what the IRS is going to be looking at as far as what you have and where they assess your value. Most of the time as an entrepreneur, you get paid last. So that's after your startup costs. This is after your equipment costs. And depending on what you are, where you are, you're going to have equipment, you're going to have licenses, you're going to have all different kind of things that you're going to have to pay every year. And those expenses sometimes grow as you grow, your business grows, and your need for certain services, your need for certain software, your needs to upgrade your hardware. All of these things come into play the longer that you're in business. So you want to make sure that you are making enough money that after you have taken out all of your expenses, you're making a profit as well. And that you can bring home something to help pay for all, for your lifestyle after you pay for the business lifestyle. Number 6 is start with a narrow focus and expand what you do. And I'll use myself as an example. When I first started out, I did coaching, and I was coaching people, and I was doing one-on-one coaching for people, and I was doing resume writing, helping people refresh their resume. I built that portion of my business before actually the resume writing actually started even before the coaching because I wanted to build that up and get that piece out there as a narrow focus. I had my niche of who I wrote for, and I perfected that. I perfected the services for that, the contracting for that, and everything that came with that. I perfected that, and then I moved into the coaching piece of it. I perfected that. I did career transition, and so I helped people that were in transition. From there, I built out a radio show and also a TV show. This came years later after I had established what I needed to establish in the industry first to do what I needed to do. And these things came as I started seeing other needs that were starting to crop up in the industry. I was able to provide a need and answer pain. So if you do that and then you expand out with time, then you are able to afford other things for the business and to scale your business properly. So by having a narrow focus, again, to review, you can build a loyal audience who knows exactly what to expect from you. So you can start having accessories for people. Maybe you start with selling earrings. So people know exactly what to expect from you. They know that they can get all kinds of earrings, or maybe it's custom made earrings. And as you build up the clientele for that, you can move into custom necklaces, custom uh, um, oh my goodness, custom custom other custom items, because right now I can't think of anything and it's interesting to me. But you can start out with that. A big thing is having that narrow focus so you can build up the quality so people know what to expect to you, and then you can bring in, oh, you love our earrings, try our necklaces, and these are our custom necklaces, and maybe even make the custom necklaces to match the earrings and things like that. And people know you, oh wow, they have earrings, oh look, now they have a necklace, oh look, the necklace and the earrings match, oh wow, this is wonderful. And then just start, you can build out from there. But also it'll help you too to not grow too fast. If you're doing everything all at the same time and you're marketing for everything all at the same time, it gets pricey. And again, you want people to know you and get to know you for something. Nike does a whole bunch of sportswear and stuff like that, but they started out with shoes and they became known for those sneakers and everything like that. They became known as that. And then they started to move into clothing. And then they were able to take the clientele that they had from the sneakers to go into their sportswear, and they became known as the sneaker that, people in sports use. So it's like, okay, I trust you for your shoes. I even wear your shoes as a regular person when I go to the gym and when I go running and everything like that. And now you have apparel that goes with that. Okay, I need apparel when I go to work out. And so now you have that client base that will move over to take that specific product or service that you have because it relates and they trust the quality of your service. So you want to focus on, if you start out business as an entrepreneur, you have employees with you or contractors with you, you want to focus on their morale. If you're a solopreneur, you want to work on your morale and focus on that and make sure that you are the best boss that you have ever had. And that was a moment for me in my company when I had my employee tell me that, and her husband was like, I wish I could be your employee. You're like the best boss that my wife has ever had. And she had said the same thing to me. And that made me feel good because I worked on the morale of my employees. I celebrated something that they did. You provide constructive criticism as well, but I celebrated what they did. I helped develop my employees, so if they wanted to grow in a certain area of the business, I helped them to do that so they could feel appreciated. You want, as an employee, and think about it as when you were an employee, the one thing you wanted was to feel wanted, to feel appreciated, to feel like your contributions are making a difference. And so you want to make sure that you do that. I mean, my best experience of being an employee when I was in corporate is when I was made to feel like I was a part of the team, that I was in touch with my management, that they were in touch with me, that they could see where I wanted to grow, where, I wasn't just being stuffed in the corner and I wasn't just a number, where my feedback, and things and problems that I may have seen, or even great things that I seen was taken and considered. Every employee wants to feel like that they're being heard. Is the same thing with customer service. Your employees are just internal customers. So you want to make sure that you are taking a look at that. And unfortunately, one thing that I find is entrepreneurs fail to focus on employee morale and everything like that. Even if they, especially if they have contractors, where they are like, well, you're a contractor. But at the same time, you want to make sure that contractor is satisfied and and happy there, especially if they're doing a great job. The worst thing any company can do, and you can look at large organizations, is lose a great employee. Number one, it costs money to hire an employee, whether it's a contract or whatever, because you have to spend man hours and dollars looking for that person. And the worst thing you can do is have an employee that is a great employee leave. That can cost you a whole lot of money. It can cost you ideas. It can cost you strategies that you could have used that now they're taking somewhere else. So, what I would say for first time entrepreneurs and for seasoned entrepreneurs, to try to act like a boss. And the thing about it is, just because you've been in business for a while doesn't mean you know how to really act like a boss. And, the thing about it is, no employee wants someone who throws their weight around. So when I say act like a boss, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm the boss. That's one of the things that'll frustrate employees and have them jump shift more than anything. Acting like a boss is to let your employees know that they feel appreciated, that they are heard, and know that they are on the right track with the vision of the company. That is the best way for them to see you as a boss. That is a true boss. A true boss can coach and cultivate employees. And if you need help doing that, you might want to hire a business coach, and I am available. So if you go down in the description, you will see how to book a session with me, to go to my website, www.ventureready.net, and we can set up a time in a brainstorming session. If you are an entrepreneur who is new or just new to hiring employees. Many times when businesses start, they are solopreneurs. And then as the business grows, they have to bring on employees. And going from being a solopreneur in a one-person shop to hiring employees or contractors can be a daunting task. And it can be an adjustment for you to become the boss or the CEO that you need to be. So if you find yourself constantly criticizing people for not doing it the way you would do it, you'll find that the team's performance will drop. And that is just the one thing. When you are hiring employees, especially as a solopreneur, you cannot expect people to do it the exact same way that you do it. You just cannot. Whether it's a product or service, it's one thing to have a policy and procedure down pat, but when it comes to strategies, when it comes to doing things, the worst thing you can do is be a micromanager, and to look at and criticize and critique and pick apart everything someone does. It's different when something is glaringly obvious that's incorrect, like a typo or something to that nature. But it's another thing of how the person gets to the same answer you would have gotten to, and everything like that. So you just want to make sure that you don't do that. Number one, it'll cause more work for you. because now you're having to go back and check. And the example I would use for that is that I had a, a colleague of mine, a mentor of mine, let me know that she had contractors for resume writing. And she was like that the first year that she had employees, she was going over and critiquing every little thing about the resume, and she would end up rewriting it. It's not that it wasn't a great, well written resume. And that's what she said. It was no grammatical errors or anything, but it just wasn't written in the words that she would have used. And so she realized that she had to take a step back and actually hire someone in to do the QA of the resume, where the person is looking for the things that need to be looked for and correcting those things instead of rewriting the whole resume. It was a very well written resume. And if it was a very well written resume, then it can go out and still show forth you as, or your company as a company that does quality work. And so, that was a lesson, and it saved man hours and it saved money in the long run, because, she was having things that she needed to do and even resumes that she needed to write. But instead of writing those resumes, she was too busy QAing and rewriting and redoing work that was already quality work. Number 7 is that you want to focus on employee. You want to focus on, I'm sorry, we're not on number 7. We are on number 8. And you want to start a business that matches your personality. According to, most experts, you want to believe in your product. Your market fit should actually be, um, you want to make sure that your market fit is part of your brand and fitting you and your personality. And with me, I know that coaching fits my personality, because I found myself doing that in corporate and helping people get to where they need to be. Like I said, even with building business and doing auditing and strategic management and process improvement, and things like that, and putting together action plans where I speak to the management about things that need to change, and also being the liaison to the line workers. That's what I did. And I found myself coaching under me, and I found myself coaching above me. And so this actually fit my personality and what I did. And I naturally fell into that when it came into corporate, having no idea that some years later that I was going to actually start a business doing exactly that, with leaders in organizations, and helping people put their business together and making sure things are in order, finding savings, areas where things can be saved and streamlined to help them work more efficiently. And these were Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies that I was doing this for. And now I'm doing it for a living on my own for smaller businesses to help them. So that's what you want to look at. This goes beyond doing what you're passionate about and actually doing what you're destined to do. And there is a difference between that. You can be passionate about many things. I'm passionate about traveling, but I know I'm not destined to be a travel agent. I'm, passionate about eating, healthy and eating for my body and making sure that I'm taking care of myself, to make sure that I'm healthy and overall wellness, especially with some issues that I have had in my health, which will be on another video. But I know I'm not destined to be a wellness coach. I know I'm not destined to help people eat right and things like that, or be a dietitian. But I know that I am destined to help people be better in business and to thrive in business. That is my passion, as well as what I am destined to do. And I found that out because even, no matter where I went, I found myself doing the same thing over and over and just falling into it naturally. Not even, oh, it took a whole lot of work. It's just where I fell into, no matter where I went in organizations and companies. So How can you contribute meaningfully to the world through your business? And that is how I contribute to the world meaningfully through your business. How do you contribute? Do you make people feel better because you have a wellness line and people feel more energetic and things like that? And people are getting healthier. Do you do it through makeup and helping women feel their best and look their best, even in a podcast or video? So think about how you contribute. And by doing this, you can create a legacy that will last while making an impact to the world. So you can do this and it will last for a lifetime. It will thrive. So you want to start a business that only you can start. Pretty much, I know Venture Ready was a business only I could start. And when I came to it, it was always like an arrow, whatever direction that you went to. And as I thought about it, I started thinking about a GPS, a navigational system. And so I let people know I'm your personal navigator on your road to success. I'm your personal navigator that helps you get venture ready. These are the things that I have not seen in the industry, and everything like that. That was a pain point that people said. I actually sit and give custom services to my clients and customer service, custom services to my clients. And I spend the time with people that other people might not spend, with them, having that eagle eye to see what's going on in the business and looking at how the business is structured. Aside from the experience I have in the industry, I have a master's in business administration and also a master's in accounting. So I bring a uniqueness to people in the industry and to my niche. I'm also uniquely qualified as someone who has transitioned from corporate into my own business and have been in my business for almost a decade. And so I bring something to the table that other people may not bring to the table as a business coach. And it's nothing against them and they have their niche, but I bring something unique to them. So you want to make sure that you are bringing something unique, but something that is of value that will last. Number 9 is always be aware of what your competitor is doing. And, business can be cutthroat. Your competitors are always trying to knock you out of the box. So they can remain on top. And this is in larger companies, as in smaller companies. I'm of the mindset that there's room at the table for everyone, but not everybody has that mentality, because again, there are countless sneaker enterprises from well-known brands to no name brands, and there is a place in the market for them. But you have people who are trying to swallow up their competition because they feel like that they will make more money in the long run, and they can still meet the needs. So you still want to know what your competitors are doing, and so you don't want to obsess over what your competitor is doing all of the time. But you want to be aware of what's going on in the trends so you can stay ahead of the game. So you want to know how they price their products and services. This is important because you can underprice yourself in the market and cause yourself to lose money and expenses. And you can outprice yourself from the market, meaning that your products and services are so high that people are not willing to pay that. Now, again, there are some caveats to that because the bigger name brands, people sell regular purses that may be like 10, 15, 20, $25. But then you can go to a brand name place, a retail place, a custom place where you're paying $10,000 or more for a purse. But are you at that level? Are you known to have that quality, to have that uniqueness, to have that customness that people will pay that? 9 times out of 10, when you're first starting business, they're not going to pay that. They don't know you. They don't know of your quality. So are you offering the right price for where you are? in your business, because you'll have people who will come in and tell you, oh, you need to sell your product for no more than $199, 197, 199.97, and everything like that. You'll have people tell you that. I had people tell me that when I started, oh, you should price your product at no less than X amount and everything like that. And thankfully, I knew a little bit better and I did not do that. But I had so many people who came into business with me who did that, who are no longer in business because people were not willing to pay that price. And the feedback that they were getting is, why would I pay that much for your service when someone who's at the same level as you and everything like that is charging this? And I've searched the market because, see, here's the thing. If you don't check the industry, your customers for darn sure are. And they're going to be looking at companies of your size, companies of your magnitude, companies of your price range, because they're looking for it within their price range. You're going to be having people who do that research and see that at this point, they're not willing to trust you to pay that amount of money. Now, that's not saying haggle over your prices and things like that. You're always going to have some. You can have something for $50. You're going to have people that say that's too expensive, or $20. You're going to have people who say that's too expensive. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about when you put that price out there. Are you getting anybody to your site that's willing to pay your price? Because if you're valued correctly, you may not win everybody, but you're going to win some people over with that price because they're going to see that you are worth that. How do your competition market their brand to people? How do they price their products and services out when they are marketing that? How do they treat their customers? These are all things that will show you what you need to do in order to, or what not to do when it comes to your products and services in there. You need to find out every little details in the early stages of creating your business or in your pivot, so you know how to treat customers. You need to find out if they offer a great product, but their customer service sucks. You can emphasize high customer relations along with a quality product. I would not say have a lesser product and then have customer relations that are off the chain, because you'll still have a whole bunch of refunds and things like that. And they'll just say, well, their customer service was great. So you want to make sure that you blend that together. The goal is to find out what overarching weaknesses of your competition, what they are, and make those your strengths while still having a great collection of services or products for your customers. Remember, you don't want to excess too much over their day-to-day operations, but you do want to look at the overall quality of the services and the products, so that you can fill that pain point. Again, it's about filling a pain point about it. So you should center around your customers and your employees and make them the groups that are the most happy with you. And then you will be golden. You will thrive in business. That brings me over to the last point. And I do apologize if this video is a little long. It feels a little bit long to me. I didn't expect it to be, because they were supposed to be quick tips, but they're still quick tips in the long run. And the 10th thing is, go out and do it. Go out and create that business. Go out and do that new venture. Go out and expand. It's even, here's the thing, because people say, oh, do things even if it's not perfect. Here's the thing. Nobody's perfect. You're going to be ever learning. This is going to be an ever learning process. These tips are designed so you don't make some common mistakes. But even with all of these steps, even with the best coach, you are going to be learning, you are going to be making some mistakes, you are going to be adjusting, and you are going to be evolving as that CEO. You're going to be evolving as that business owner, as your business evolves, as the economy evolves, as changes happen. But if you can forecast and you can do the things that you need to do to the best of your ability, you will be a step ahead. And I look at that because when I first started my business, I was like, I want to be able to be virtual and not have face-to-face appointments where I can, because I wanted to make a service and a product that would be on my client's time, not necessarily on mine, to make it as easy for them as possible, especially with dealing with management and senior level. A lot of them during business hours are busy during business hours. And so I had things that were tailored where they didn't have to take time out of their day or even after work to drive to a location to get to me. Whereas most executives, most managers have a computer at home. They can set up a time and have virtual time with me. They can have videos and trainings, which, oh yeah, by the way, I have videos and trainings too that I expanded into later. As my business grew, that they can do things on their own time after they've put the children to bed, after they've had dinner with their families. I've had weekend hours and have weekend hours, just to fit the schedules of my executives and making appointments when it is perfect for them. And so, yes, that's what you'll find out as you're in business, and things like that, to get yourself together. What I did not know is that it prepared me for COVID-19 when it's seemingly overnight, the whole world was virtual and the whole world was online. The whole world was on Zoom. The whole world was virtual, and having virtual meetings and meetings in Facebook, and businesses were there. I kind of had a little more seniority in that and comfortability in that, to help people to adjust to the new norm. So new entrepreneurs can sometimes be well on their way with their businesses, only to have their thoughts cloud their minds. And so that's why I say this is not just for new entrepreneurs, because well on your way can be well on your way to startup in a year of your startup, 10 years into your startup. And so it delays your success. And you ask yourself, will you make mistakes? Yes. Yes, you will make mistakes. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. And we saw that with COVID. Some things that are completely out of your control. So, you might even ask, what did I even sign up for with being this? And this is not even when you're new. This could be when you're older. Watching the news, people who have brick and mortars would say, I never thought this would come to this. I can't, I can't believe I signed up for this. Why am I even in business at all? Trying to figure out if they can even make it from one day to the next. And everything like that, or if they're going to have to close their doors temporarily or even permanently, and everything like that. So as you are in entrepreneurship, as you are a small business owner, all of this stuff is going to happen, and all of these things are going to happen. But if you need to make some pivots, just go after it. Go for the small business loans. Go for the grants that are out there, and grant funding, and put your hat in the ring to do that, so you can pivot and come up with a plan for you to do that. And even when you're doing that, you want to look and see what your competition is doing to the best of your ability, to have a leg up on that, because you're still going to have to explain your business. You're still going to have to have a business plan for a lot of these grants, and to explain why they should fund you over someone else who's doing the exact same thing that you're doing, in a lot of cases. And so if you have that, and you have looked and you have done your research, and you have a well thought out plan, a well thought out financial plan, these things, and those numbers there, and things like that, people will be more prone to finance you for that. So that's whether you're new, that's whether you're seasoned, that's whether you need to make a pivot, that's whether you want to start a new venture within your business. All of those things, these steps, going through these steps over and over and over again, will help you as you start to expand and do some things. Remember, entrepreneurship is about going all in. It's about taking big risks so you can live the life that you want. The goal isn't to win the award of perfection, but it is to win the award of success and thriving. And success is defined by you. It's not really defined by anybody else. But it's designed about how you thrive in business. There are many, even before this and before COVID came, I was saying that you have a lot of people who are just surviving. And to me, the dangerous part about just surviving is if you're just surviving, you're hanging on by a thread as opposed to thriving. And if you look at the businesses right now that are thriving, there are businesses that looked at their competition. They looked at the economy as it was even before COVID. When COVID first started, they had some things in place, or they were able to adapt quickly to what was going on and the changes. And they are the ones that are thriving in business. And it's not just the large companies, even the small businesses, the ones that were able to pivot quickly or already had in their mind a forecast of where they saw things and technology going. They are the ones that are thriving right now. And that's what you want to look at. You're going to have to take some big risks so you can live the life that you want. Anything worth having is worth working for and taking that risk out there. If you don't take that risk, then you're not going to reach the goal. And so you want to make sure that you can do that. You want to build a business that helps solve a problem of the masses, and the masses are your audience. And making sure that you are niche down. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can make people's lives better. That is with the impact of your business, to the world right now and what is going on right now. You want to make sure that people are getting value for their dollar and the bang for their buck, especially now as things are tighter with what has been going on with the economy. So you want to make sure that when you launch your business, you can help as many people as possible, that you are meeting their needs, that you are able to be flexible to what they need to have done, whether your service, whether you need to have virtual appointments, phone appointments, because you might not necessarily be able to do the face to face. So the more people you can help, the more people you can satisfy, the bigger your business will grow and the more your business will be able to thrive over time. So this is Katrina Brittingham. I hope that you have liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button and the bell notification that will be in your screen. And then you can get notifications of when the next video will come to help you to thrive in business. And if you want, leave a comment. I do read the comments. I do take them and consider them to help make my business better and to make this program better for you. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer for you as a entrepreneur, as a startup, or as a small business owner, on how to develop in COVID and beyond, or just business questions in general, you can put them in the comments, or you can email me at info@ventureready.net and I will respond to you. To register for business coaching, you can go to www.ventureready.net. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.